Okay guys, we're like 90% of the way home now. But this is another hard part. When I did my first helmet, I didn't quite cut this right. I've got more of a gap here, or more of a gap on this side than I have on this side. So what you want to do is you want to take your old broken D570, because you're filming with the other one. And you're going to want to eye it really well to the center of the interior foam of the helmet. Remembering that it's going away from you, it's bending up, so you're not going to want to cut it so far up here. You want to come back a little bit towards the camera a little bit. You're going to make notches the size of the camera. Try to get this where you can see it. You're going to want to make notches, you know, roughly here and here, and then you're going to want to cut down all the way through. You're going to actually want to kind of score it on the inside of this, because this is like a leather material, and when you do, when you finally get that completely cut, then it's real easy to just go straight down through that foam. So this is one of those things you're going to have to eye it. What I've been thinking about doing is cutting away little by little, because I want this foam to be at an angle, so that I can put my camera in and possibly have that foam that'll be at this kind of angle hold the camera. So when I do this one, I'm going to start out small and go bigger and bigger and get this perfectly fit for the camera. Now when you're cutting down here at the bottom, you're going to want to make sure that you leave enough room at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my other helmet to get exactly what this distance to the bottom is. And I'll post it up here on the video so you'll know exactly where this bar needs to be. But that bar is important because, first of all, it gives integrity to this. And second of all, most importantly, your camera will sit right on this bar. And when you put it in your helmet, it'll be right there every time, exactly where you want it. And then after I cut it, you're going to have to find one of these. Yeah, you can usually find these in any women's hair care, you know, product places, and it's just one of those things to hold your hair, or any kind of elastic. But I found that this works really well. Just cut it in half, where you have one piece, and then once you get everything in your helmet, you're going to glue it one side to here and the other side over here, and glue it down very well. And then what that'll be is it'll be a little backing on your camera that's going to hold it in there for safety, even though this camera will not fall out, but it'll keep it up there really nicely, and it's just another level of protection. So I'm going to start cutting on this foam now. Try to put this camera up a little bit higher somehow, so you guys can see a little better. I think one more ought to do it. Using video cassette boxes. Okay, that should do it. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to. It's got two little notches here, and that's the exact center of the foam. So just get your camera exactly where it's supposed to be, centered on there, perfect. Hold it, and then I'm going to cut my notches at an angle, and I know this is not going to be far enough, but that's okay, because now I can. It's better to take too little and come back and finish the job than it is to take too much and have a big gap on it. Okay, so I got that side, and now I've got that side. See how I'm cutting at an angle instead of straight across. Okay, now I've got my angle, and I'm going to shut the camera off for just 2 seconds and go measure my other helmet to find out what the bottom row width is. So I'll be right back. Okay, I went out, looked at the other helmet, and found that since I don't have, again, any kind of measuring device, it's between 3/4 of an inch and an inch. So I would suggest when you're making these cuts, and this is the leathery part that you're going to be scoring first, just go ahead and do it for about 3/4 of an inch. Then you can go put your camera in. If it's not exactly right, then you got a little leeway. But just under an inch will work just fine. Okay, now from those angle cuts that I made in the top, I'm just scoring down to the bottom, even with the mark I made that's going to be my bottom the little bar. This is kind of difficult to do because it's at an angle. So you gotta turn. Okay, so now I've got the whole thing scored, and see if I can see it. Maybe I can get this. There we go. See, it's scored down from the top, and then that's roughly about an inch up, a little less than an inch. But I left myself room that if I had to, you know, open it up any more for the camera, that I can dig down into that foam a little bit more and make the size right. Okay, once you get it scored, just keep scoring it, because eventually you start digging into foam. And once you get to that point, it's real easy just to cut all the way through it. The hard part of this is getting through this little leather or pleather piece. Once that's done, it's easy. See, already got this side done. The bottom of this is really the hardest part because of the angle. But as you can see now, guys, I've said this before. I am inept when it comes to mechanical stuff and making stuff. And if I can do this, any of you all can do it. You know, don't go out and waste your money on this. Just do it yourself. It's so easy. And also, don't poke your hand. When you're down this bottom portion, it's easier to just take your knife and just keep poking through instead of trying to, you know, cut across, slicing. Now, I don't think this is actually going to be the right size as far as the width, because like I said, I did make this a little small, so that I would make sure I could come back. I just wanted to, like I said, try to make that edge where it was angled over a little bit to hold the camera in. I don't know if that's going to work or not. It's really not that big of a deal if it doesn't. Okay, after you get all that scored in here, then you just come to the front and go ahead and make your cuts down, and you'll notice when you're cutting that it's like, oh, it's falling apart now because you're already like 75% of the way through the foam. So you made that little cut and it just went all the way down through. Okay. Go over your edge. And let's see how much more I got to go. I'm pretty well all the way through there. What I need to do now is I'll do the bottom a little bit more because that's where it's holding on. Okay. It's loose on that side. It's loose on this side. And hey, looks to be. That's what's holding it. This little. Make sure you cut these little pieces of tape because they're going to hold it on. That'll be a problem if you don't cut that. See, once you get it scored, it's real easy to come out. Okay, so this is what you're looking at. After you get this cut like this, just come back and clean this up where you won't have any pieces. Also, what I've done on mine is I've taken a black magic marker and colored it so that, you know, when you look into the helmet, nobody really sees this white mess. Oh, okay. So now what we've got here is the camera. Let me see if it'll work this way. How close I am. Yeah, I'm not. I still need to. I need to actually cut some more off of each side there. But you see what I'm going for here. I'd like to try to get that where when you put it down in, it sits in here and is held by this piece and this piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep working on this a little bit and get it exactly where we want it. This is not rocket science, man. It's just you cut your hole for it. And I'll go ahead and work on that, get it exactly where I want it. And as soon as I'm done, I'll put it all together.